Marco Reus will be leaving Dortmund and has reportedly already had talks with Major League Soccer clubs. St. Louis, I think, was one.
Yeah, St. Louis, I think, is the one.
Good solution?
I like this. I think we saw him playing a little bit on Tuesday. He still, I think, has legs and talent to offer. And it's not going to go to another German club, really. I don't think after all his time in the Bundesliga, there's something there for him. So MLS is probably a good option. If again, he brings something to whatever team and franchise he joins, that he's still up for it, that he's motivated, that we see the talent. If he's to go on holidays, just retire.
It's
and
not
don't
holidays.
bother.
And St. Louis is a good option, right? There's a good barbecue, the Gateway Arch, the Cardinals.
I've never been to St. Louis, so I don't know.
Porto coach Sérgio Conceição is meeting new president André Villas-Boas over his future. Jules, he's been strongly linked to Milan after fans torpedoed Julien Lopetegui.
Yeah, as we explained on Monday, if you're Villas-Boas and you're the new president, maybe you want to come with your own guy, which, okay, I could understand maybe, but also Conceição has been so good to Porto in the last few years. Okay, this season in the league, not so much. They've made mistakes. They had some highs and some lows, but they almost knocked out Arsenal. They were very close to knocking out Arsenal out of the Champions League in the last 16. I would keep Conceição. I'm not sure where they could go to find someone better if Conceição goes, but he might want to go and just have another chapter in his career and maybe go back to Italy, where he obviously played for many, many years.
Well, I'm assuming he's also, what do they say, with greatest respect to Porto, probably a bigger club.
A bigger club, yeah, true.
Definitely more money.
Yeah.
So I think it's a kind of conversation where AVB will say, okay, well, if you stay, and we want, if assuming AVB wants him to stay, if you stay, this is how we're going to, these are the plans, this is what we can spend, these are our budgets. I'm assuming AVP has reviewed everything Pinto da Costa did and has a plan. So I think it's gonna hinge on that. I think from Milan's perspective, I hope that Conceição is the name they all agree on, and that it's not another situation where Lopetegui, where there was like one guy wanted him, another guy wants Van Bommel, another guy wants Fonseca. It's not a good look.
It's not a good look at all. You're right. And sticking with Milan, their current coach Stefano Pioli is now reportedly top of Napoli's list. As we know, they will also be looking for a manager in the summer.
Yeah, and look, I think kind of with Arrigo Sacchi on this, as you know, and I've said this before, if you can't get somebody who's markedly better, and I think Fonseca could be, keep Pioli. Just ignore the boo birds and the people who keep giving him stick. Yeah. If you decide it is time to move on, I think he'd make a lot of sense for Napoli. He does come with a pedigree of having won the title. I think he's a very good coach. Can he deal with Aurelio De Laurentiis? Probably better than others. So yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. Certainly more sense than all those people who are prattling on about Antonio Conte and whatever else. That ship has sailed.
Yeah.
Bayer Leverkusen kick off in a few hours against Roma in the Europa League. But Jules, their social media team is under attack for a post which detailed tickets, they had all the ticketing details for the final, which is going to be played in Dublin. Now, I know they're 2-0 up from the first leg away, and I know that they corrected it pretty quickly after they posted this. Karma is real.
I know, but I don't know. Real Madrid had their shirt already ready in case they qualify for the final. Dortmund had T-shirt ready in case they qualified for the final.
But you keep those T-shirts hidden away.
But they're there though, Gab. Maybe you keep them away, hidden, but they're there. They've made them, they paid for them, it's there. So, of course, they're all making plans. Roma making plans for the final in case they turn this around. Everybody makes plans.
You don't share them in public. You keep them hidden away.
So what? You turn it up. It's more likely that you're going to make it to the final than not. So, I don't know. Maybe don't make it so public. I don't really have an issue with planning for a potential final when you're that close. Marseille, Atalanta are going to do the same.
No, but of course they're planning. The question is releasing the tickets.
No.
By the way, what you mentioned there about kind of the shirts for Real Madrid, por la quinceañera or whatever. It's funny. I read a piece a few years ago about this guy who you always wonder. You always see this, especially I think it's started in American sports, where somebody wins, becomes NBA champion or wins the Super Bowl, and immediately they're all running around with the hats and the T-shirts, right? So there's a company that makes them, and obviously they make a whole separate set because they don't know who's going to win, right? And those are the ones that we never see. So I read a piece. A guy traveled those things, those shirts get, that whole material gets donated. There's a specific town, I forget if it's in Ghana or somewhere in West Africa, where these T-shirts later get donated. And if you go there, there's an alternate universe where there's a completely different set of winners. You know, like France 2022 World Cup champions, and England Euro 2020. It must be the most surreal experience. I want to go there. I want our bosses to send us there.
Yeah, that's
and
a
just
great,
document
great story. Weston McKennie has 1 year left on his contract at Juventus, but has reportedly rejected the club's offer for an extension.
Okay, so I got it. People have asked me about McKennie, right? A lot of U.S. national team players. And because there's that stat, which it even came up when we had our editorial meeting with our colleagues in the U.S. and the guys who follow U.S. national team. They're like, well, Weston McKennie's got the third most minutes for Juventus this season, right? So he has played a lot for Juventus this season. I think he's played relatively well.
Yeah, he's
I think they like his versatility. But here's the thing. He's got a year left on his contract. Juventus have offered him a new contract, but it's a pay cut from what he's making now. Right now, he's reportedly making 2.5 million euros net, which is about, close to what, $4.5 million a year gross. Maybe a little more than that. But they're offering him to cut his wages.
Right.
Not by a lot, but in longer term deal for lower wages. Whereas he was thinking he was going to get $3 million a year net.
So a little right.
Like Manuel Locatelli.
Yeah.
I think the harsh truth is part of the reason McKennie's played so much is that Pogba and Nicola Fagioli were both suspended.
Yeah.
To me, this is the kind of contract renewal which says, hey, why don't you have a really, really good Copa America and we sell you somewhere in the Premier League, and cash in. Because Juve do view him as a saleable asset. So, that's, I think, the harsh reality.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And look, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. He's worked hard and whatever. But right now, the club's financial situation is such that they're minding every penny.